For the second consecutive day, the front page of the New York Daily News trending on social media. The publication showed the picture of the San Bernardino shooter, Syed Farouk, but then placed the blame for the shooting on the NRA, an organization that the New York Daily News calls a terrorist organization. Here to discuss is someone who is all fired up about this, is a chief political correspondent, USA Radio Network's Scottie Hughes. Welcome back, Scottie. Good to have you.
Hold on, I got to give up clinging to my gun and my Bible right now because I'm the evil person in America today that's causing all this terrorism because I'm a member of the NRA.
Yes, or any other gun organization. I don't really think it matters. In fact, I think if you own a gun, that makes you a terrorist, despite the fact that you are legal with it and do everything the right way with it. It's only the criminals that aren't criminals, and it's the law-abiding citizens that are the criminals. So I hope you've got that straight. I want to know what you think, though, Scottie, of this New York Daily News cover. Do you think they really believe this?
Unfortunately, Gina, I think they do. And even if they don't believe it, you know that the people that read them do. I think the editors might be a little bit smarter, but this is all a part of this major propaganda that we're seeing that demonizes those of us on the right. And unfortunately, all we've seen since this whole thing has happened has been these left people going along this line that prayer is bad, guns are bad, protecting yourself. Islamic terrorists are good if you can justify it as because their daddies abused them or their wives were the ones that somehow manipulated them to get into these situations. I feel like I'm living in the twilight zone this past week living in America.
Wow. CNN anchor Aaron Burnett actually said on the air that the San Bernardino shooter may have suffered from postpartum psychosis. Scottie, the left will do just about anything not to call this what it is, Islamic terror. Why is that? And why aren't they afraid for their children like you and I are afraid for ours?
I don't understand. Maybe they think that theirs is going to be specially protected. Here's what's scary about us. Yes, I agree. Do we have domestic terrorists? Do I agree what happened in Charleston was horrible? Absolutely. What happened in Denver, Colorado, or Colorado last 2 weeks ago? Horrible. Absolutely. But guess what? Every single time that happened, the president was out there. The first thing he said was, let's take away their guns. These are these right-wing extremists. In South Carolina, they took away a piece of history even. Now, in this case, when you have a direct link where it's coming out that the wife did pledge allegiance to to ISIS, that there is actually a link to this. The president and all these liberals refuse to admit it. Why? Because they know they are already here and they can't do anything about it.
CNN and MSNBC reporters got the landlord of the San Bernardino shooter's apartment to let them inside. And some are saying that the media should not have been nosing around a crime scene that was closed and boarded up by investigators. I have to be the first to say, I would have gone in. What about you, Scottie?
Absolutely. We would have a field day. But here's what scares me. Who are we seeing these videotapes from? You're not seeing it from people like conservative journalists like you and I. You're seeing the videotapes from MSNBC and all the left-wing liberal media. Now, that scares me right there. And plus, you have to wonder, if we're doing it for this crime scene, what was removed enough to allow the public to come in? And this gives those low-information voters, those people that just see headlines and thinks that it's telling the truth, this shows, oh, yes, look, this administration's being open. These guys, we have nothing to fear about those types.
White House Press Secretary Josh Earnest trending today. He can't get off the topic, Scottie, of gun control and workplace violence. And then the lawyers for the terrorists came out and said, oh, this might just be all about workplace violence. Really wanted to discount any association with terror and any role that other family members or friends might have played in this couple's act of terror. What do you make of all that?
Talk about a reality show that gives the Kardashians a run for their money. Was watching these people and their attorneys today. It was absolutely just bizarro world. But here's what scares me about this, Dr. Gina, is the left and the mainstream media is letting them get away with this. And of course, this is the worst part of the next year. This is the one piece of legislation the president promised. Progressive legislation he's not gotten through Congress yet. So he is going to take every opportunity possible, even if it means lying and cheating to the general public and information and trying to get this through. And he has 1 year left to do it.
Scottie, this is something interesting. You and I, we've been watching this political election all the way along. I don't think either of us were Trump fans at the beginning of the season. You and I have both developed a great affinity for him, and I want to get to that. But I want to talk about his numbers, because pundits like you and I, who talk about this every day on television and radio, said from the very beginning, okay, it's cool and everything, but he's never going to get above 20%. He's never going to get above 25%. He's never going to get above 30%. Then, when the terrorist act took place, we all said, oh, now people are going to want someone like a Ted Cruz, someone like a Marco Rubio, who has experience in national security. Donald Trump is getting ready to tank. I'm not saying you said it, but I'm saying a lot of pundits, a lot of people who do what we do, who so far have been good at predicting these things, not so much in this election. This was their prediction. Instead, Donald Trump's numbers soared to an all-time high. 36% now is his overall number in the latest poll. But when you compare him with the rest of the candidates on terror, he ranks at 46%. He is the man, Scottie, that this country wants at the helm in the face of those terrorists. I want you to analyze that for us.
And the one reason why, and I know it's a Friday night, and I think my parents are actually watching, but I'm still going to say it's because he has kahunas. And that's what we're looking at right now. We're looking at who has the bigger kahunas, or backbone if you're Baptist, who can actually stand up, because any sign of weakness right now reminds us of what we already have in the White House, reminds us what we already have in the GOP leadership, and we're done with it. So whether they're right or wrong, we want to know that we've got somebody that's going to stand up there, and he's not going to apologize for America. He or she. And I have to say, if Carly would have come out with this at this point and said, you know what, America had a strong enough statement, she might have gone to the top. But the key is, who can sit there, and who do we have trust and will not back down and put our country first before anyone else? Right now, Donald Trump and Ted Cruz look like to be those two great candidates.
Well, you mentioned some squishy spines, and I think that is one of the problems. I think that is what has catapulted these two into the top 1 and 2 places. One of my senators here in California, Barbara Boxer, says that sensible gun laws work, and we just need more of those to protect people from shooters like the ones in San Bernardino, which is, of course, California. Scottie, we already have the toughest gun laws in the nation, and yet they're calling for more gun laws, I guess, to make us more like California, where we have more shootings?
Well, that's what the thing is. When you sit there and look at all these, we say it time and time again, they're gun-free zones. There's a reason why you have the most crime in urban areas like Chicago and Washington, D.C., New York, and now in California. So the crazy part in all this, I don't understand why they can't understand. Evil is going to do evil. They will find a way to do their crimes. Now, the UK this year is actually stating that they have a rise in knifings, in slashings. So it doesn't matter how it happens, you're going to see evil want to commit it. The only thing they're doing, as we say time and time again, is they're actually taking away the rights for you and I, the legal citizens, the good Americans, to protect ourselves and our families.
Absolutely. Well, Scottie, we sure do appreciate you being with us today. Appreciate all the work you've done. And I'm somebody that
going back
works
to hiding with my Bible and Secret Service right now.
Very good. And hi to Scottie's mom and dad. Thanks for watching.